Broadcasting from the Ante Up studio, it's the longest running poker podcast for the everyday poker player with your host, Joe Scales.
Hello, A-Team, and welcome to the Ante Up Poker Podcast, where every hand is an opportunity, every player is a friend, and every episode is a winning experience. I'm your host, Joe Scales, and Elle and I are back home for a little bit. We're going to catch our breath before we hit the road again for the Ante Up Poker Championship at the Venetian in Las Vegas. We've got a lot of fun planned while we're out there, from playing some darts at the Flight Club, which Elle absolutely fell in love with this past summer, to catching up with some of our amazing A-Team members. If you're going to be in Vegas, definitely let us know. We'd love to connect. Also, I want to hear from you about the YouTube experience with the podcast so far. If you haven't checked it out there, head over, like, and subscribe. It helps us out, actually, more than you'll probably ever know. Other than that, though, we've got another packed show for you today, so let's not waste any more time. That's all I have for now, so let's get on with the show.
Find out what conversations are happening around the poker table with Table Talk.
Elle and I are back around the poker table.
And one of us requires walking assistance.
You can, as evidence behind the wall or up against the wall there. You want to tell everybody what happened? We can talk about the bad beat of the week.
Before that, we're going to take our brand new Maker's Mark cups.
I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
They are stainless steel and they stay real cold. And we're just going to cheers the weekend.
Cheers.
Because Makers and ginger with a lime to start this segment off, because
this had nothing. Makers and ginger had nothing to do with your fall.
Zero. Cab Sav, glass and a half of Cab Sav was the only thing on board, and that had nothing to do with it either. I have very weak ankles. You have experienced this. It is embarrassing. I have a big fall every year, and I believe that
I really thought you were going to make it through this year.
And you and my parents both jinxed me last week because we discussed it. And now this is what happens. So, long story short, I decided that I needed to order. God, this is going to be boring for some people, but I had to order a new tablecloth because all of my female aunts and cousins are coming over for a crafting weekend this weekend. And I was like,
I was escaping, by the way. I was not.
You are escaping. Yeah. Not was. It hasn't even happened yet.
Fair.
Right. So, but I realized, oh my gosh, we're going to be crafting on our dining room table. So I need to order a tablecloth. And Amazon is very particular about you've got a cutoff time. I had 19 minutes to be able to get it here on time. So I bounded up the stairs because we have a split level. Bounded up the stairs in the kitchen, grabbed measuring tape, and I'm bebopping my way back down. And that bebop turned into bang on the floor, to which I was not moving.
No, you were not.
Yeah. So it's that pain so bad that everything in your contents of your stomach might
come up.
Eject. Yes. The eject button almost hit, but we iced it. I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. Got off the couch, tried to walk. That didn't happen. And then it immediately swelled. So we spent yesterday at the doctor's office, and the x-ray techs and all of those lovely people. They were great.
Yeah, they did.
They were great.
Can't ever complain. They do a great job, but so you're a little slow moving now. You didn't, as a result, you didn't come on the camera last night during the Patreon game.
Correct. I was quite a miserable person yesterday. So,
but it was 7-card stud, and you played well. You may not have been on camera, but you played well.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And Pasta even gave me a shout out. So excited about that because that was a huge compliment. But 7-card stud, I still can't figure out my strategy because you get 3 cards.
Right. 2 down, 1 up.
Right. So I can see everybody else's up.
Mm-hmm.
But I know how to bet when I have 2 cards in Texas Hold'em. No problem.
Okay.
So I just have that's tricky. And then I get stuck. I think you got stuck in a couple places too.
Yeah.
You bet where you shouldn't bet.
Yeah, I wasted a bet.
So.
And
you have to lead out. That's the other thing that messes me up the whole
bring
time.
in.
Yes. The lead out, the bring in, the yada yada, whatever. Like it either makes you do that or bet twice as much or 3 times as much.
So the bring in to try and explain this, the person with the lowest card that is showing is the bring in.
I figured that out.
Okay, good. We did a little strategy session, a little kind of quick rundown before we jumped on.
Right.
But I didn't think to explain the bring in.
That was an
my bad.
important aspect. It's okay. I mean, I also had the ability to research and stuff before, but I felt really good until hour 2. And then I just either wasn't catching cards or I wasn't making great decisions on the cards that I had because a lot of them were rainbow, quote unquote, flop for me. And then I would say, okay, I'll play. And then I'd get the 4th card, the 5th card. And then I go, I really should have just folded this from the beginning. And and listen, behind the scenes, Ben Minch is going like, remember, Elliott always tells you 2 pairs, beware. Right. So anyhow, and I got ripped a new one by Pops. I had great 3 of a kind and he had a straight.
Yeah.
And a very high 3 of a kind. But anyhow, enough about us. Like, holy moly, chip leader almost all night long. I was chip leader for a little bit, but almost all night long. Congratulations.
Dooch.
Right.
Dooch took it down. He was on fire.
Yeah, all night. All night long.
By the time he got the heads up against Yankees fan, he had amassed just mountains of chips.
Right.
And as a result, the game ended. I think it's probably a record. Like we ended.
It was early.
Yeah,
we even got to watch TV on a Thursday night. Watch out.
But Dooch didn't just win. He snagged the bounty as well.
Oh, did he really?
Took pasta out.
Wasn't it like a double bounty too?
I don't think so. I think it was just a single bounty.
I saw something in the chat about that. We got to go back.
Yeah, somebody did say a double bounty, but it was really just a double knockout.
Oh God.
He had busted pasta, and I made it to 5th, which means picked up a little bit of room on that leaderboard.
Here we go with that.
Not a lot, not enough for sure.
Here we go with the leaderboard again.
Yeah, we won't go down that road again, but it's always good. I love everybody jumping on the Discord. Dooch actually got in there just as we were wrapping up.
Yeah.
Got the camera on right at the end, but it was good to see him on camera for a minute. I just love it. Pasta was in there.
Yeah, I really enjoy being on camera. But last night, I'm one of those people, firm believer, if I'm not going to bring the fun, I'm staying home. And so that's what I did. I played my game. I was still there, but I did not jump on camera. So sorry about all that to all of you, but sometimes you got to take a break.
Yeah.
You got to know yourself.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff going on this week.
Yeah.
Some crazy stuff. And some stuff that we even talked about last week. I was like, oh, that didn't take long.
I know, right?
That didn't take long at all.
And apparently that's been going on for a long time.
Right.
So.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I think you've got some news from WSOP.
Yeah, let's stay in the online world first.
Okay.
And then we'll get to that other part. But Renlin.
Yes.
He actually bagged chips after day 1 of the main event in Cyprus at the circuit event there, which I know, don't everybody freak out. I know it's a live event. Stay with me a minute.
Yeah.
Before day 2, he was told by the tournament director, Andy Tillman, that he could not continue. His chips were being picked up and he was disqualified.
Can you imagine? I can't even imagine coming into day 2. Like, you've got all that prep work, whatever, and then you're just like smacked in the face with that.
Well,
what's that all about?
Apparently, Ren Lin had provided some real-time advice to another player in an online tournament on GG Poker.
How would he have been doing that?
So
was it on a break, or was it like he was at the table?
He was on a break.
Okay.
And
somebody was asking for advice.
The person who actually ended up winning the tournament.
Did he know that he was in a tournament?
He didn't know. I mean, he knew he was in the tournament. He just didn't know that he was
giving real-time
advice. Like,
yikes.
He thought of it more like after the tournament's over and you kind of give
you're doing hand reviews
like we've done, right?
And after Occupy Poker
yeah.
can give you assistance in replaying a hand, which you've been working on this week, and I can't wait to do it some more too. But so he had no idea. He
didn't really understand the difference there, what was happening. So the third place finisher noted that Lynn was in this chat group, right?
Third place finisher of what? The live tournament or the online?
Of the online tournament. He noticed that he had been in this this chat group, and the winner thanked Ren Lin afterward for
advice,
coaching at the table, and he was like, "Hold on."
Oh, no. See, it's like all those things you got to ask that you see hindsight's 2020, where like a friend is like, "Hey, what do you think about such and such?" And you give your opinion, but then you go, "I really probably should have asked you.
Yeah.
Where are you right now?"
Yeah.
Can I get a little more context?
Right, but I mean, it's just a friend. He had sent him a meeting request. He picked it up and he's like, "Hey, I got a question about a hand." Okay, here you go. So I see where from Ren Lin's, I see where it could be a slippery slope, an easy mistake.
Yeah.
But GG Poker's policy is all decisions at the poker table must be free of external assistance. So by the letter of the law, that's that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I agree with the way that they enforce that, but also isn't he like an ambassador for them too? So that's got to put him in a tough position. However, that's just, I think the reason we both wanted to talk about this today was ask the right questions. Get some context if your friends are asking for help. I mean, I could easily see how that would happen with me, where I'd be like, "Hey, I'm in the middle of this, or I leave out. People leave out details all the time that you have to ask about. So that sucks.
Yeah.
But lesson learned.
Right. And the fact, I want to give GG credit too, because they acted swift. And the fact that Ren Lin is a GG ambassador, they didn't show any favoritism. Mm-hmm. They were like, this is the rules.
True.
And we're going to enforce it. So I definitely think that that's important to give them a shout out for that as well.
Yeah, agreed. Sorry, Ren Lin, though.
Yeah. Hopefully they get that resolved and he's able to play some more. But this makes me think about poker as a whole, has this bad rap these days. And it's so important that we continue to put an emphasis on the ethics and reputation of the game.
Right.
And I feel like that's what they were doing.
Agreed. So way to go.
But
speaking of ethics in a game, that's blown out of the water with this insane story. When did it come out? 2 days ago? I think Mom broke it to us first.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
And then everybody I know has sent
messaged. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been reading about it too.
Everybody today was talking about it. Hey, did you hear about this? Hey, did you hear about that? So anybody that knows,
well, it's headline news.
Yeah.
It's not just
news. In the poker world. Yeah. So Ren Lin, it's kind of the gray area. This is definitely not a gray area.
Not. Very clear, cut, dry. Lots of players involved, both coaches, NBA. You guys already know what we're getting ready to hit the head on, which is a poker ring.
Yeah.
With the mafia of all things. And let me tell you, people don't believe the mafia is real. It's real.
Oh, yeah.
It is still real. The crime families. I lived in Italy for 4 months, and they do watch you.
Did you have the mafia watching?
I don't know if it was the mafia, but true story. I ordered a chocolate croissant and a cappuccino one morning on the way to school. Sat down.
Okay.
Had my coffee, had my croissant. P.S. best chocolate croissants and cappuccinos in the world. The world.
Makes sense.
Okay? I got so lost in watching these men that sit every morning.
What?
Old men.
Oh,
like
okay.
70-year-old, 80-year-old. They're just bullshitting the morning away. They've left their families and come here to have coffee together. And I had no idea what was going on because I, at the time, spoke very un poco Italiano.
Okay.
Very little Italian. But I just enjoyed watching their body language and their laughter and such. So much so that I got up and left. And I never paid my bill.
Oh, Lord, did they track you down?
No, sir. I drove 20 minutes up the mountain, got stuck behind a garbage truck. If you've ever driven in Italy, the streets are very small. You don't just go around the garbage truck. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my gosh, I didn't pay my bill. I turned around, I drove 20 minutes back. And I walked in and said, I am so sorry I did not pay my bill. All in English. This woman says, do not ever come home from work. I know where you live.
Whoa.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good to see you. Can I please pay you so this doesn't happen again? And when my parents were there, they're like, why does that lady wash her windows so much? I go, she's watching you. Like, they know we are the odd people out here. I'm living in this very small Italian village as a very young American girl working on an Air Force base. All those people knew who we were.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know if they were the mafia, but
they definitely were.
They knew.
Okay.
Anyhow, we digress.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got way off topic.
All I'm saying is Italian families are as they're depicted. They are close, they are tight-knit, and sometimes they're up to no good.
Okay.
That's what I'll say.
Fair enough. Apparently,
lots of scheming going on here.
Yeah.
With this game.
There are two separate and serious schemes that these actually reach back all the way to 2019.
I know. And we've watched clips of these ball players.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about poker first, and then we'll talk about sports betting.
Okay.
What did we talk about last week? In the RV, bouncing up and down, going down the road. What did we talk about?
We talked about the card shufflers.
Automatic shufflers and
in home games.
Challenge flag dropped to anyone who wants to try to
these people were doing this.
Hack into this.
Yeah,
right?
These people were doing this way before we talked about it or anybody even had that thought.
I didn't think we were like brand new on the street with that information. I knew people have been trying to hack these forever. But
probably.
However, X-ray technology used in the shuffler at these games.
So yeah, they were able to tell the card order like we talked about.
Right.
They had the RFID tables that they were
cards facing down. They could connect. I just want to know from that point, how did they communicate? Because over $7 million has been won in these games. So NBA coach and other players, I believe, were kind of used as like luring people in to come to these games and play, which we're kind of all over the place. But I mean, Molly's game, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. You have high profile people playing in these games. If you ever got invited to the game, hell, I would want to go. I would absolutely want to go play.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you is like, if you were told, hey, this famous person's going to be there, would that make you say, if you weren't going to go before, you're like, well, maybe I should go?
Absolutely.
Because,
I think anybody who says no doesn't really care about that person or their work or their career or their athletics.
I have a few people that are on a short list of people that I've.
That's what I mean. They're on your short list, not like if somebody just came up to me and said, do you want to play with Scottie Pippen? I don't know. Not really. I mean, really, I know the name. I don't know enough about him.
Right.
I don't follow basketball. I hate the squeak on the floor. No, Scottie Pippen.
But if they said Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'd be there.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, just in general to say I got to play poker with Michael Jordan. Now, I don't know that I would have the bankroll to be able to play with these folks.
Right.
And the games and the high profile games that they're playing. And I probably would have some questions like, who's there and why is there security and so on and so forth. But I do think that once you have celebrities and high profile people, if you get invited to that game, you feel important.
Right. That's true.
And they knew that. They knew that, they utilized that ability, and they took advantage in addition to X-ray in the card shuffler and, help me, RFID.
The
But how are
RFID,
they
but not
telling?
just that. They had the contact lenses that could see the marks on the cards and
Wow.
things like that. But to your point from a second ago, if we went and played in those games, they have at least $7 million that was taken. If we were to have played, it would have been $7,012.
Oh, geez. I would hope we would take more than 12, Joe. But
the thing that was,
they had hidden cameras.
yeah,
There were all sorts of
yeah,
spyware, I would say.
and the way they
used.
communicated, Sal Piacente,
Mhm.
when he was talking to us in the magazine, I mean, they have the tiniest little earpieces that go in your ear.
That
The
nobody
only
even
way
knows?
you can get it out of your ear is with a magnet. You slide it down in there, nobody can see it, and they can talk to you. Yeah.
Why
And then
can't they make hearing aids like that then?
they probably could, but people would probably,
Have issues.
yeah. I don't know. But
Wow.
the thing that I think, most shocked about was I always think of these mob families as always fighting with each other, not really working together.
Oh, no, if they have a mission,
Yeah. Well,
100%.
the
Bonanno,
Ban-
Gambino, Giovese, and the Lucchese.
all crime families all working together.
Yeah. If there's a benefit, they cut a deal.
Yeah,
That's just well known.
yeah.
Here's the thing. What's next and who else is going to come out now?
Oh,
you
I'm
think?
sure that there are people that they have not even begun to mention yet, but some of the NBA players have already been suspended from the NBA indefinitely. Yeah.
So that just means no mas. You are
They're
no
suspended
longer.
until they say otherwise.
Okay. So there's a possibility that they could come back.
Yeah, sure. If they're found not guilty.
They're saying I still have a chance. You're saying I have a chance, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this in court? Where is
It-
this headed?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they've got to go through the whole system. They're given their day in court. Yeah. But another layer outside of the poker is this parallel scheme of insider sports betting.
The sports betting, and then going back and watching the clips of players who were in on this that would let them know that they're either going to be injured and going out at a certain point in the game, or
I mean,
I have watched some of the film, and sometimes I don't trust things. I don't know if it's AI or not, but you're watching this film and you're going, how does he miss that many times?
Or just you threw the ball directly to the other team.
Yeah. I mean, there you go.
Yeah. So I don't know how much of that money was involved in that, that 7 million. I don't know how much of that was part of the sports betting side of it, but I'll tell you what, that's
certainly making some extra Christmas money.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. It sounded like.
So the poker games and the sports betting, I mean, they're separate entities,
right?
But they were both involving these same crime families.
Well, they're profiting the same people. They were just using different avenues.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you said, there's going to be so many people that come out as being involved in this, and we're not even. I feel like this is going to be one of those where we're just shocked,
scratching the surface. However, this week, I believe that they are starting to allow college students to be able to bet.
College players can bet on their own games?
That is the newest thing coming out.
Oh, I have not heard
I'm telling
that.
you.
That's terrible. That's a
watching,
terrible idea.
Saying there's some significant things coming out. I'll have to go look for that story. But I did read something this week that they're going to be allowed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
To be continued.
Yeah.
To be continued. I think, though, the best place to be playing poker this weekend, I have a couple of suggestions. If you're looking for reputable places to play, World Poker Federation Ladies Weekend is happening. And it's happening in many countries across the world. I believe it's 15 states, 14 or 15 states. If you're not able to join in live, you can absolutely go to WPFLadiesWeekendUSA.org. There are online tournaments at 2 p.m. today, Saturday, and Sunday. You have to register to play on Club GG, but then you purchase your buy-in through Bluffers. Everything is on the website. If you just look in the top sort of ribbon of the website and click on events, scroll all the way to the bottom. It's on the bottom, right? They have excellent directions.
What's the website?
WPFLadiesWeekendUSA.org.
Okay.
And click on events, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the online opportunities. I talked with Lupe. Things are kicking off all over the world, have already started or will be happening as we speak. So I'm super excited about that. And then Talking Stick in Arizona, our buddy, our ambassador, Dustin Scara out there has always just said how beautiful this room is. And we've just been looking into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
They're kicking off a fall series.
Yeah.
So if you're in that area.
That one's not this weekend, but it's coming up.
Oh, okay. So
November 8th, November 8th and the 12th, they're going to have some satellites into a $1,500 buy-in tournament. But then Friday the 14th, they kick into high gear.
Okay.
The 14th of November. They have everything from Omaha to Hold'em.
Ooh.
They have a ladies event.
They got any crazy pineapple?
They have crazy pineapple.
Such a fun game. Such a fun game.
And they wrap everything up with this Senior Poker Open, which is cool.
All right, awesome. I think we're inviting their poker room manager on in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned to hear more about what's going on out west, because we're gearing up to head out to our 2025 championship at the Venetian. Cannot wait to get there November 11th. Tons of $200 satellites coming in to the final championship, which is $1,600 buy-in, guaranteed $400,000.
Yep.
So we are beyond excited to get there. I'm working on the ankle so that I can be up and mobile by the time we get there.
Speaking of, though, if you are laid up and you hurt your ankle.
Oh, no, we're ordering HelloFresh immediately. I've already thought about it 100%. We were supposed to do it from the RV last weekend and we forgot.
Yeah.
We missed the Wednesday delivery.
True. So that was before you were even hurt.
I'm ready. I don't want to do click list. I want it to show up on my doorstep.
And it's fall. So, the nights are getting colder.
And it's getting dark earlier.
I want something a little more hearty.
Well, I know we've already talked about chicken pot pie.
Yeah. Yeah. So HelloFresh has comfort foods that are chef designed.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah.
And the steps and the directions are so easy to follow.
I know. They've got seasonal ones and they've got their biggest menu refresh they've ever had. So,
well, I'm looking forward to that because I think the new menu has high protein, veggie packed recipes, which we're trying to hit anyway with a couple of new plans that we're working on. You can get, and eat green with their new veggie packed dishes. I know you're not excited about that, but toughen up, Buttercup. They include 2 or more veggies per meal, and they've added 3 times the seafood options. Again,
and you can get steak. Just saying.
Okay, perfect.
Just throwing that out there.
So, HelloFresh is perfect for when you don't want to think about what's for dinner. I really don't have time to be hobbling through the grocery store right now. And I've, working late, we're recording, we're editing, we're getting ready to travel. We have tons of family stuff coming up. It's Halloween week and families can just be busy. Single people can be busy, married couples, anyone. So,
yeah, so the best way to cook just got better.
I agreed.
Go to HelloFresh.com/AnteUp2010FM to get the 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on your first box. It's new subscribers only, though.
And it does vary by the plan, so you just have to pay close attention. Make sure you check out, that's HelloFresh.com/AnteUp2010FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. We're going there tonight.
Yeah. So a lot going on. Wait, what?
You're not drinking your drink fast enough.
So I got it stolen.
Yeah.
All right, I got to hold on to my drink. We have a weekend to get ready for, so
Yeah, crafting.
cheers.
Crafting, spooktacular, and our son's birthday.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers. It's always a pleasure being around the table with you, Joe.
Likewise.
Now it's time for Call the Floor with Elliott Schechter.
Elliott Schechter joins us each week to say how he would rule on situations that come up in your games. And he's with us again this week. Elliott, how's it going?
Things are going pretty well. Thanks. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing well. Got a haircut, which always makes you feel better, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a call the floor that's sent in by Vince Paul. And he says, I would like to discuss something that happened months ago. I don't remember the exact details, but the memory will be forever ingrained in my head. He says I'm playing 1-3 no limit hold'em at the MGM National Harbor, just south of Washington D.C. And then he says not Baltimore, which I feel like I need to explain that. Elle and I,
think you do.
and admittedly, mostly me, we're talking about going to Baltimore to play at Maryland Live and at MGM National Harbor, neither of which are Baltimore. And Vince called me out on that during one of the Patreon games. Well,
Right.
that is a mistake I will not make again. But in this hand, Vince actually made a huge mistake of his own. At the conclusion of the big hand, there was a big pot. On the river, he says, my opponent, who was on the opposite end of a pretty long table, made a bet and I raised. He tanked before finally making the call, bringing the pot to over $1,000. In one swift action, I turned my hand face up and flicked the cards, and apparently flicked them entirely too hard, and they ended up not only flipping upside down, but also landing and touching the muck, or at least one of them did. Everyone went silent in astonishment, and I immediately say, no, that's not a fold. I have a boat. My opponent then says to the dealer, that's a muck, right? The dealer looks at me and says, sir, you mucked your cards. To which I respond, I have a full house. Why would I fold a full house? I have 5 deuce. My cards are right there. At this point, I've stood up and am pointing at my cards there in front of the dealer, but still within my reach. More than once, the dealer says, sir, do not touch the cards. Don't touch anything. I hear another player say, I know exactly which 2 cards are his. It's those 2, and points at them. At this point, my opponent tables his hand and says, well, I have a straight. And I ask the dealer to call the floor. The floor comes over and asks the dealer to explain what happened. The dealer very plainly said he made a bet. The other player called, and then he mucked his hand. I haven't touched anything. I then explained my side by saying I had a full house. I raised, and I was attempting to table my hand. I flicked them in too hard, and they ended up flipping over. The floor then asked if any other players saw my hand. One person sitting next to me said, I saw one of them, I saw the 5, and no one else spoke up. The floor then decided that since no one could confirm my hand without picking up the card, my hand was forfeited. In a last-ditch effort, I asked if they could check the cameras to see if my cards were visible before I flicked them in, to which the floor agreed, but instructed the dealer to proceed with the next hand while leaving the pot off to the side. As the next hand was being dealt, I eventually asked my opponent if he would agree to chop. He thought about it and then said, I'm okay with whatever the floor decides. The floor eventually came back and said it simply happened too fast and that my opponent wins. Aside from being excited, I mainly flicked my cards a little harder than usual, only so the player could see. However, I completely understand that it was my fault and I should have placed my cards face up in front of me. Sometime after this happened, I learned the phrase identifiable and retrievable, and now wonder if there was another possible outcome for this scenario. I don't recall if the floor ever asked the dealer if he could identify my specific two cards, but if he had, I'm sure the dealer either said no or was uncertain. Nonetheless, I and at least one other player said that they could identify my two cards. So my questions are, does the phrase identifiable and retrievable only pertain to the dealer's ability to identify a hand? And does it matter that one or even both of my cards may have touched the muck? And would it have been appropriate to ask the floor if the cameras could identify my two cards laying on the table before they were reshuffled into the next hand due to the significant sizing of the pot?
Well, I feel badly that this happened to you. Nothing worse than having a winning hand and it not being able to win the pot. There's many things to talk about, and I don't know if we need to talk about them in any particular order. You certainly have realized on your own that you didn't protect your hand. And there's generally not a whole lot of sympathy or redress for those that don't protect their cards. With all that being said, it is certainly the aim of just about every card room in the industry to make sure that the winning hand actually gets the pot. Poker has stopped being played at the end of the final betting round. He can't maneuver you into folding. There is no folding. You might have discarded, but there's no folding. And just because you let go of your cards in an unorthodox manner doesn't mean they're supposed to be dead. Along those same lines, death by contact with other cards or the muck is generally discouraged and is certainly not a thing in a lot of places. Just because they come into contact doesn't mean they're automatically dead. You used identifiable and retrievable, and yes, that is now supposed to be the standard. And rooms that aren't using that standard are not doing any service for their player base. 100% identifiable and retrievable. And it doesn't appear as though that was any part of the conversation. Why the dealer is saying you mucked, it makes no sense to me either. You didn't muck, you let go of your cards. You weren't facing a bet. You're the one who bet and got called. And it's not reasonable for somebody with a full house to actually have discarded. It doesn't appear as though at any point in the conversation or process they were trying to determine if your cards were identifiable and retrievable. You had at least one, if not multiple, players at the table identify your cards for you. And it doesn't matter if somebody saw them at that point. If they're identifiable and retrievable and you're still at the showdown, you get a chance to turn them over. Just because you inadvertently sent them in, it doesn't mean you don't still have a right to get your hand read. Now, if they want to fall back on protecting your hand, they can do that. That's a pretty important rule. I would have given you the chance. I would have tried to determine if those were your cards. If I couldn't determine it, I couldn't determine it. If it's not 100%, then it's not 100%. We're not going to give you the cards back. But we're going to go to great lengths, especially in a pot of this size, which is obviously not small. It looks like a full buy-in for the game. 2 full buy-ins, $1,000. So, yeah, I'm impressed by the reflexes of the other player who immediately said that's a muck. I mean, he obviously had run into that multiple times and was prepared for just this eventuality. Certainly manipulated the dealer into making sure that any language used was language to be used against you and for him. That's not supposed to be a consideration either. Well, once again, either the hand is identifiable, retrievable, and live, or it is not, and it is dead. You should protect your hand. This is an important lesson that you learned. There's no reason to ever let go of your cards. There's no reason to flick them. There's no reason to toss them. There's no reason to give them a nice flourish. You're not being rated on your style when showing your hand. Your object is to turn your winning hand over and get the chips thrown to you. Yes, your silliness and need to be fancy or show off has bitten you in the ass. And there is a part of me that has no sympathy or regard for your consequences. But as an operator, I must consider the entire situation. And it is not fair for you to all of a sudden not be eligible to win the pot simply because you had a brain fart at the wrong moment. You certainly didn't do this intentionally, and you didn't try to be deceptive or appear to fold and then all of a sudden at the last second table the hand to win. You tried to table the hand just in an unorthodox manner and certainly inefficient. The way you describe it, I'm not sure I like the process and how it was handled by the fine folks at MGM National Harbor, but it's hard to be completely against how they handled it.
Right. I think the part that struck me as really odd is the dealer being so adamant not to touch the cards.
Right. If they're your cards, they're your cards. I don't care if you threw them forward. Take them back.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah. And he did go on at the very end of this. He did put as an aside there that just a few minutes before this happened, he had been talking to the guys at his end of the table and mentioned that his favorite hand to play, his favorite crappy hand to play was 5 deuce offsuit, and that's what he ended up getting. So he did say that it's definitely not his favorite hand of any kind anymore. So,
Well,
you
glad to
know,
hear that.
he did learn an expensive lesson from it. So at least there's that.
Small victory.
If nothing else in poker, that's kind of what we do, right? We make calls and we make mistakes and we learn lessons and move on. So
Right.
at least there's that. At least you did learn the lesson there.
Yeah, true enough.
But yeah, the way this was handled from the dealer on, it just seems a little odd. Like I said, the dealer being so adamant not to touch the cards, not to touch anything, and then when he explained it to the floor, he even was sure to say, "I didn't touch anything." So all of that sounds more like in blackjack. This is poker, not a table game out
Well,
in
I mean,
the casino.
if they're in contact with other cards or the muck at that point, I generally don't want the players reaching into the muck, even if it's merely incidental
Sure.
contact, just a corner of the card. That being said, I appreciate the dealer not touching it or trying to move them even further into the muck. But at that point, that really implies that the cards are identifiable. And if they're identifiable, they're retrievable. So again, either they're not using that standard, they're using death by contact, which I can't recommend, and I don't understand that they would, but if they are, they are. It certainly implies that he was able to get his hand back had they actually had an identifiable and retrievable standard in place. It really does.
Right.
I may be wrong. They may have been further into the muck and discards than described, but it certainly seemed as though the folks at that room were going to great pains to make sure that once he released his cards, he was not getting a claim on the pot, which, considering he's the one who initiated the action and didn't see an opponent's hand before releasing and obviously didn't have a bluff. Yeah, they certainly went to great pains to make sure they couldn't win the pot. Could be
Right.
any number of explanations other than simply that's the way they rule things. Once you fail to protect your hand, you have no claim. And that's not incredibly unreasonable, but it doesn't sound player friendly. It sounds regular friendly, which is not a standard we should be upholding on a full-time basis.
It sounds like if nothing else, a good lesson came out of it, Vince, and
don't let go of your cards.
Yeah, certainly protect your hand.
Yeah,
and
turn them over in front of you, face up on the table, put your hand on top of them. This way, if somebody tries to mix them in with other cards or somebody tries to take them, they can't.
I remember the story that you've told about somebody trying to take your cards. So, Elliott is
They never got
very
them.
adamant that they are not going to leave until the pod comes his way. So, it's a very important lesson. And Vince, I appreciate you sending that in. if anyone has a call to floor that they would like to know how Elliott would rule, send it to podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Elliott, I appreciate you doing this another week. And
You're welcome. Glad to do it.
We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Let's break it down with Hand of the Week.
Welcome to Hand of the Week, where Patrick, our resident fish, and I dive into listener-submitted hands. Each week, we tackle everything from questionable bluffs to hero calls and the hands that make you scratch your head. Whether you're looking for strategy tips or you just want to see if you would have played it any better, we've got you covered. Patrick, how's it going?
We're back.
So now we know World Series teams. We've got the Dodgers and we have the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's kind of let's put it this way. It's kind of a just a trash World Series. You know, you definitely don't want the Dodgers because I'm tired of them winning. I definitely don't want another AL East team. Seattle was the horse that I was gonna, hitch a ride to, but yeah, we'll still watch it. I mean, at this point, I guess I want it for the Toronto fans and it's the AL East, but woof.
Well, if that's not to your liking, then you can always turn toward the NFL, where there's plenty of bets to be made on DraftKings.
I mean, when in doubt, go to DraftKings. You can pick up literally that morning. Just go on a Sunday. I mean, obviously there's NFL on Mondays and Thursdays and everything else and whatnot. But go on Sunday morning on their prop bets and throw a quick little parlay in. I mean, Drake May over 300 yards is a good one. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a quarterback in New England. Real good. Next going to Tom Brady. Some have said. I mean, I didn't say it. Some have said it. I haven't said it. It's not me, but some have said it. DraftKings is great. I mean, you can literally throw anything in there.
But go to DraftKings if you're new, download it and use the code Ante Up 20. And Oliver's playing the rare 1-2 cash game sent in by Oliver Myers. And Oliver's playing the rare 1-2 cash game. Seems like all places seem to be going to 1-3 now. Oliver has found the 1-2 games. They are 8-handed, and Oliver is in the hijack position for this particular hand. He has been in the game, he says, for about 20 minutes and has still about $200 in his stack. It folds to us in that hijack position, and we have the King of Clubs, King of Diamonds.
Oh,
that's a good start.
That's a very good start. Very, very good start. Well, if he's been playing for 20 minutes, he's got about 200. It doesn't seem like it's a very, very aggressive table. Is that fair to say?
I mean, yeah.
Could be, I guess.
It may be just him that's not aggressive. I mean, he may be just folding.
That's very true. Oliver or not having the cards to do it. Kings in the hijack. You got to go pretty decent size here, correct? Yes.
So maybe. Yeah, we're raising, I would say.
Yes, for sure. I've got 6 or 8 in my head at least.
Yeah, my question was, do I want to go more than 3x or do I just want to do 3x? I kind of always try to stay in that 3x range, but I also want to do what has become the table norm. We've only been there for 20 minutes, so do we even know what the table norm is? Whatever. Yeah. I'm going to go 3x. I'm going to go to just $6, but I could definitely make the case for 8 for sure. I guess our goal is to say we have something, but I need at least one player to join us.
I need you in here. So
yeah,
Burr knows there's a table norm, and we did not know that.
That might be a bit much. The cutoff folds, the button calls, and everyone else folds. So he's still got the one caller.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, my first question is why so much, right? I don't believe 10x is probably necessary, but hey, if that's what they're doing, then that's what we're doing.
So what is it, 43?
Yeah, so there's going to be $43 in the pot. I feel like we just
Big
caused.
bet.
Yeah,
What is it, 43?
yeah. So there's going to be $43 in the pot. Gosh, I feel like we just
Big
caused.
bet.
Yeah, I feel like we just caused hands like King Queen and King Jack that we dominate to fold, when maybe they would have stayed in this one. But the button did call, so at least we got that. Oliver says the button has about 400 in their stack. So, like you said, there's $43 in the pot. And the flop is the 10 of diamonds, 7 of spades, 4 of hearts.
Okay. Well, we raised 10 times. I mean, obviously, we're still in the driver's seat with kings, with a call there. I mean, that's you. I don't even know where to put them. I mean, obviously, you could put them on ace, king, maybe. Aces for sure. Queens, jacks. I mean, I'm not putting them on a whole lot of. I'm not putting them on 10, 7s, or 4s, I don't think, unless, they just really, really, really wanted to play.
I mean, if they had pocket 10s,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's definitely within the realm.
I think if I had pocket
percentage.
10s, I probably would call that.
Okay. From the
But
button.
I might even call that with pocket 7s. So
Fair enough. I mean, one thought is to check it back to them and see, gauge a temperature
yeah,
and just call it, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. So that's just me.
I can see that. Like, it's such a dry board. Like, there's not a lot of draws or anything like that. So you might want to check and let them catch up.
Yeah.
So I can see that. The problem is that when they call such a big bet pre-flop, they probably have some sort of medium size or small pairs, I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't want them to catch a set here either. So I think the best play for me is to continue to tell the story that we have a monster. So probably bet 25. Oliver says, I see bet for $30. Considering our pre-flop sizing, I think I like that bet a little bit better than mine.
Yeah.
So, not bad. Villain calls. So now the pot is $103. And the turn is the ace of hearts, which when you have pocket kings, you know that ace is coming, right?
Always. It's death, taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like that, clearly.
Probably the worst card in the deck for us because it opens up the heart draw, and of course the ace is the overcard to our kings. What do you want to do?
All about continuing to try to tell this story with that ace on the mini.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do we have ace king in our realm?
Absolutely. Yes. So
Tell that story.
yeah, we could 100%. And I guess you have to at this point. You don't have to, but I guess that's the way to go. So in that case, I'm probably going, I don't know, 55.
Yeah. So I was thinking two schools of thought here. If we check, I don't like that because it opens the pot up for them to bluff at it, right?
Yeah. And they would probably take it because we're not going in on that.
Then if we bet big, like we have been,
Yeah.
then they probably fold worse hands. So maybe here we make like a small.
Is that okay? Is that okay though with an ace on the board? Are you okay with them folding that though?
Well, I'm okay. Not if they have a small pair or something like that. I want them to keep coming along.
True.
If they have that ace, then I want them to fold.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think I'm probably gonna bet here like $30.
Okay.
The problem now, I just said that out loud, so that's what I'm gonna go with. But if we bet small like that, are we opening ourselves up to being raised off of the hand as well? Because if they come over the top, can we?
Okay,
call?
I'm glad you said that because that was my thought. Is if we go too low here, you're definitely opening up to a raise, and I'm not calling a raise. I don't think it's a hard fold, but I don't know that I'm calling it.
Yeah, I said I was gonna bet $30. Thinking through it,
I'm going bigger.
I probably would rather have check called
Okay.
something. But yeah, I said it, so I'm going 30 bucks.
Sticking with it.
But I, for the record, I think checking here would have been the better
Yep.
move.
I think
It's one of
you were
those-
kind of right in the middle of both schools of thought that I was going with. A little bit of a bigger bet, closer to half pot. Hey, continue. This is where we're at. You're probably not going to catch a raise. And if you do catch a raise, then, you're out anyway. Or the check call.
This is one of those moments where you put the chips out and then you go, shit, that was a mistake. And you try to not look like it was a mistake.
Yeah. You sit back, arms folded, confident. Let's go. Yeah.
Oliver made the correct decision. He checked.
Okay. Smart man.
And the villain leads out for $40.
Okay. That's not surprising. I think I'm still not sold on where I'm making them, but I'm calling.
That was about the size that I was betting anyway, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I can call that. The problem is we may face another bet on the river,
Yes.
but this does give us a chance to evaluate that. So, yeah, I'm calling. Oliver says, I was afraid of that ace hitting the board. It's definitely in their range. So I fold, and I don't want to throw away $40 early in the session. Was this a bad fold?
No.
I didn't expect this hand to end so early.
Did not either, but it's not a bad fold.
No, I don't. It's not a bad fold, but I think this is one of those spots where GTO may say one thing, and all those little solvers and things may say something over here. Then somebody like me that plays more from the feel of the game may say something different, right?
Yeah.
If you just look at this from a math standpoint, you only give them ace-X hands, then it's probably negative EV to call, right? It's probably not good to call there. But if you start putting in some medium pairs, then it starts getting close. And if you put bluffs in there as well, then it's definitely positive EV to call. I think you're in great shape if you call. We don't know. We just sat down. We just sat down 20 minutes ago, so we don't really know how they play, which I think is what he was saying when Oliver said he didn't want to put $40 in early in the session. But I feel like $40, I'll pay $40 for that information.
Fair. I'm probably not paying any. Well, you know what? I may. I may pay for more even later too.
You definitely avoided what could be a marginal spot, but $40 to see the river seems to me like a good deal.
Yeah,
and
I can appreciate that.
And I've said this in the segment before too. When someone bets big in a 1-2 game, it's very rarely a bluff.
Yeah.
This was on the smaller side, right? This isn't a big bet. So I feel like you have to put some of those bluffs in there where they were trying to represent the ace.
Yeah.
I think we could have represented the ace. They can represent the ace. Oh, and I didn't realize there was more to this story. Oliver actually adds a little bit more here. He says, the villain showed a 10. I lied and said I had a 10 also. What was your kicker? And he turns over the other card, which is a 9. So he had 10-9 offsuit.
Wow. 10-9 offsuit. And he wanted to play. So the only reason
He called the $20 raise.
Yeah. Top paired it up.
Yeah. Then when we checked the ace, he figured he could represent it. And
well, here's obviously hindsight's 20/20, which is what we do on this segment. And so yeah, it was a bad fold. Sorry, Oliver, but no, I'm just kidding.
it was not a bad fold. Oh, seeing the hand, you definitely folded it there.
Should have done it. No, but it will say, it goes to show you that look, he didn't have to pay for his $40 to learn what he had. I guess that makes your point right there, though, Joe. $40 to see the river and then make a decision after that.
Yeah, I wonder what he would have done on the river.
Yeah.
let's say just a absolute blank comes on the river.
Yeah. 2 of clubs, something, nothing.
Yeah.
I think if I get, as crazy as this sounds, I think if I get to the river, I'm feeling more confident with a blank card. If another overcard comes, then maybe, but yeah, I think I probably would have felt better after that. I mean, I stand by it. It's not a bad fold.
Right.
Good hand for the other guy. It's not a terrible fold. It's, you could have seen it for the $40 and gotten some information out of it. And you may have played it differently at the end, but
this is also a perfect example of why position matters.
For sure.
The fact that we were the first one to lead out, it allowed them to be able to see what we do and act accordingly, right? So if the situation was reversed and we were last to act, then we can call the $40, see what they do, and go from there. The fact that we had to act first on the river as well makes it a little bit harder as well. So
yeah,
that sucks. But here's the good news. Oliver did get the information from this player without having to pay for it.
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? He kind of set the tone too, because he had way better of a hand and still played it the way, he tells the guy he's got 10. Whether he takes him at his word or not, who knows?
yeah.
I
So
think Oliver had a good run in that session.
you think he ran it up later?
I think he did.
Just from that image.
Good fold.
Good job. Oliver, I appreciate you sending that in. If anyone has a hand of the week that they would like to know how Patrick and I would break it down, send it to podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Patrick, we'll see you next week.
Sounds like a plan. I'll be here.
It's time for Joe's One Outer.
Elle and I are back from our RV adventure to Maker's Mark. And as fun as it was to hit the open road, there's nothing quite like walking through your own front door. The house smells familiar, the dishes are right where they belong, and best of all, the bed doesn't sway when you roll over. But I've been thinking a lot about routine this week because I feel like routine gets kind of a bad rap. We spend so much time trying to escape. But once you've been off the grid for a while, you kind of realize how much comfort and clarity routine brings. It's kind of like poker. When you're in the middle of a long session, the players who survive aren't always the flashiest or the luckiest. They're the ones who stick to their fundamentals. They don't panic after a bad beat. They don't suddenly start limping with 9-4 offsuit just because they're bored. They trust the process. And that's really what routine is, right? Trusting your process. On the road, Elle and I had to adapt. We had to find where to park, how to conserve water. How do we get the recordings done in a moving vehicle? Every day was different, and that's part of the fun. But it's also made me appreciate the small rhythms of home. The quiet moments you don't notice until you've lived out of a rolling metal box for a while. Poker teaches you that same lesson. There's excitement in the chaos, sure. But the real edge comes from consistency, from showing up, studying, making the same disciplined choices even when they're boring. And when you've got that kind of foundation, a little adventure just adds spice. It doesn't shake your core. So, as I sit in my own chair, drinking from a cup that's not a travel mug, I think about how poker and travel both lead to the same truth. It's not about always chasing the next thrill. It's about finding balance between the grind and the getaway. Because the players who last the longest are the ones who know when to push, when to pause, and when to come home to routine. And honestly, That's the beauty of it. That's today's one outer, and that's today's show. I'll see you next week, A-Team. And until then, I'll see you at the tables.
The Ante Up Podcast is a production of AnteUpMagazine.com. Contact the show at podcast@AnteUpMagazine.com or call the show at 540-339-7741. If you'd like to advertise, send an email to editor@AnteUpMagazine.com.